like that only, no? You will find it difficult to remember.
Yes, ma'am.
Now see the ones that you would have written in your para.
Yes, ma'am. I would have connected.
Yeah. And what will happen is the ones that you're using in your paragraphs, you'll tend to use it more in your writing by default. Okay, well, what happened?
Actually, my brother goes like normally for 5 people. Came home really awesome. Everyone in the family writes.
Huh?
Everyone in my family writes. My mom, my dad. I wake up, I woke up in the morning, I read lunch, and then I came there.
Good evening, good morning. Karmanya, Adesh.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Have you done what you all were supposed to do? Yes, both of you all.
Yes, I have done it.
She thought you all won't come and she'll be all alone here.
Good morning, ma'am. Rekha here.
Good morning, Rekha.
मैम बच्चों को कॉल करूं कौन कौन है वहां पे फिजिकली
Tell your names. Riya, Tanvi, Pritha. बाकी दो शायद ऑनलाइन ज्वाइन करने वाले जैसे बोल रही है
रिया तन्वी और पृथा
स्नेहा और सात्विका शायद ऑनलाइन ज्वाइन करने वाले हैं
नहीं अभी फिजिकली कौन कौन है रिया पृथा और तन्वी
हाँ Okay.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Aditya. I'm just opening my file here. Okay, what is it that you were to do, Aditya, for today?
I'm word web homework.
Which one?
Word web homework. You had given 5 words last time.
Okay, read it.
Yes, I read it. Can I read it?
Yeah.
So the 4 words were bamboozled, meaning confused, camaraderie, meaning banter, accoladed, meaning awarded, and ruminated means to reflect or meditate over something. So the para is, the Nazis had been completely bamboozled by the tricks of the Lehring brothers. Their camaraderie had been apparent during the Battle of Normandy, where they had rescued 150 hostages while continuously exchanging pleasantries over their microphones. They were accoladed for their daring feats as the German army was left to ruminate its substantial damages.
Okay. Good. Karmanya, you?
I had to write 3 sentences with camaraderie, and then I had to write my own paragraph as well.
So
The 3 sentences are I had a really good group of friends and we all had a fantastic camaraderie. We found camaraderie within the small groups. Relationships are developed and a sense of camaraderie kindles.
Okay.
My paragraph is Rahul, an ally of mine, was quite assiduous and always topped the class. But after the 10th board results, to his astonishment, he was able to secure only 80% marks in his finals. And so Rahul's parents had confiscated his phone. These scores left an indelible effect on his mind, and he took a pledge to do better in grade 11th.
Okay.
My
Read your
words are ally, acidus, astonishment, confiscated, indelible, and pledge.
Okay. Good. Manya, yours?
Ma'am, should I read out the words as well first?
Yeah.
Ruminate, accolade, bamboozle, camaraderie, and juxtaposition.
And
What was the 5th word? I
there
don't.
was 5. Ruminate, camaraderie, bamboozle, and accolade. 4.
Oh, okay. So I added a 5th word. I thought that was
Which one is that? You added.
juxtaposition.
Sorry, juxtaposition.
Juxtaposition, right. All right. Even though the on-screen camaraderie between the two was applauding, the viewers couldn't help but feel a little bamboozled about how the whole situation played out. Nobody had expected the juxtapositioning of the two athletes would lead to them scoring great accolades. We were all left ruminating the rather surprising turn of events.
Okay. Adesh. Adesh, now again, see your video is off, yeah. Why don't you keep it on your own? Today I didn't need to tell anyone else other than you. Okay, what were you supposed to do, Adesh?
Ma'am, the paragraph and the sentences. Ma'am, I didn't do.
Nishi?
Mom, I did it last time.
Okay, you are done. Fine. Amongst you all, this fine, you was I don't know. Where is it? What did you do? New, fresh new words? Or the same 4?
Health is an extremely mysterious and ambitious thing. At one point of time, you can make you broilers or turn yourself into an alchemist. Mr. Tata is the best example of alchemist. He has won numerous accolades for his social service. The most positive threat often in the family or between friends and the major reason to access the camaraderie shared by them is mainly wealth or property related in it. It is observed that the wealthy one bamboozles the other one out, resulting in quarrel between two people. If you get yourself ruminating over the concept of money, you will realize that money is just a piece of paper you put exchanging words. So instead of quarreling or considering yourself obviously, you should be accord with love.
What did you say instead of
Quarreling.
what is the word?
Quarreling to consider yourself Q-U-A and
Spelling. What is it? To talk admiringly, enthusiastically, or proudly of it. It could be words. Yo, you what?
I could have a paragraph for
Then
specifically to be someone who deserves hatred, Shriek means a high-pitched cry. Grin means to smile broadly. Retaliate means to rebel or attack with the same intensity. A burglar is a robber or a thief. No, actually, I was reading a book and I didn't know these words, so I just took it from there instead.
Okay, yours.
Study run quickly. Once having a see getting very angry.
What's the spelling?
See, sorry, yes, be very angry.
I know. Actually, that's what we can put out. No, and then the might as well take the textbook out and read the from
What
there.
sour means short temper.
Oh. But you also write down, that's
It's
important.
on my phone, but then I had taken a picture and I sent it to someone, so I just got.
Adesh, you are the only one who's not done it. Adesh,
Yes, ma'am.
you didn't do it last time, you didn't do it this time. What's going on? How are you going to improve upon yourself? Don't do it only with the perspective of exams. You need this for the rest of your life, a good vocabulary. That's all that we are doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, today we start with parallel sentences and modifiers. Are you all able to see this on your screen? Are you all able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So now girls pay attention. This is a new topic to your lesson. You can even pick out some notebook where you could write in case you need to. Modifiers and parallelism. Okay, this is something that needs to be maintained in your sentences. It is a kind of uniformity that needs to be maintained.
Modify means change. Or
Yeah,
make a
modify
better
icon.
version of something.
Yes, a modifier means to
Change it.
elaborate on something. Like an adjective is something that modifies a noun, it gives you more information. So anything that gives more information. Yeah, session 4, okay, open that. So, parallelism firstly. Are you able to see the screen, girls? Okay. Huh? Book में भी है. It's the same only, but they do it from both so that it will be like double revision. In this, I've tried to add more sentences. So parallelism is what? You can read these sentences We drove to the lake. Where is Aditya? Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, you're there. I couldn't see. So we drove to the lake, mountains, desert, and beach. The man was advised to act either quickly or judiciously. They want a candidate who is friendly, organized, and punctual. Shreya's main duties were answering the phone calls, filling records, and conducting surveys. Moxie likes singing and dancing. So what are you doing in parallelism? You are comparing two or more connected elements. They are joined by connectors and they should be the same part of speech. For example, in the first one, what is lake, mountain? What part of speech is that? Lakes, mountains, desert. Hmm? What part of speech? What are they? Nouns, pronouns, adverbs, adjectives? They are nouns. In the what is it? In the second one, quickly, judiciously, adverbs. Friendly, organized, punctual, adjectives.
Second one is
This is adverbs. Yeah, friendly. Friendly, organized, punctual. These are adjectives. Candidate, who is? How is the candidate? Okay. Then answering phone calls, filling records. These are phrases with an ing verb. Okay, answering phone calls, filling records. So here this has to be the same. The form has to be the same. I'll give you more sentences. Moxie likes singing and dancing. Again, the same form. You won't say Moxie likes to sing and dancing. Or you won't say Moxie likes singing and to dance. Okay, so you have to keep that the formation the same. Some more sentences. See, when talking to the group, he spoke sincerely and with passion. What's the sentence? When talking to the, where can we see the board? Hmm? You can see this one. So when talking to the group, write this down. He spoke sincerely and with passion. Now this sentence, is this parallel? Does this seem parallel? Yes, it is not. So what should it be?
Sincerely and passionately.
Correct. You use sincerely here. So you will not say with passion, you will say passion. One more sentence. Or you will say he spoke with sincerity and with passion. Okay, so the form will be the same. So if it was with sincerity and passion, then both would be nouns. So here both are adverbs. One more sentence I will give you. When talking, oh, 1 minute. the cafeteria was messy, noisy, and it was crowded. Okay, so is this parallel, messy, noisy, and it was crowded? What is
It could have been directly and crowded. Why
Correct.
it was?
That's what. So here, messy, noisy, these are both adjectives. And here, this is a phrase. And so we will write messy, noisy, and crowded. Then one more sentence. Trying desperately to find his keys. He looked in his bedroom the sofa. Are you all able to see this last sentence here down? You all are, right?
Yes.
Huh. The sofa and on the kitchen counter. So what is a mistake here? Can you all identify? Trying desperately to find his keys, he looked in his bedroom, the sofa, and on the kitchen counter. No.
On the sofa.
Yes. So where all did he look?
Sofa and the kitchen counter.
Yes. Where all did he look? In his bedroom, prepositional phrase.
On the sofa.
On the kitchen counter, prepositional phrase. The sofa, this is different. So the mistake lies here. So what will we say? Under the sofa. Okay? Or on. Whatever your option may be. But you'll ideally look for something under something. So under, on, whatever. Did you all get this? Is it clear? We'll solve more like these. Okay. Just first get an understanding of what it is. So this is parallelism. This is still more or less not too difficult. What are the important points? Comparing two or more connected elements using a connector. So if you have a sentence where you have a connector or a conjunction, you realize that this would be a sentence which has a problem with parallelism. Now, next one is modifiers. How to get rid of this?
And there is a cross check here.
No, I think here there will be something like hide. There is a cross. Now better. No? Okay, so modifier. Firstly, what is a modifier? It can be a word like an adjective or an adverb. Okay, it can be an adjective or adverb. Adjective like expensive cloth. It is flat, gently, adverb. Or it could be a phrase. Or it could be a clause. Phrase in the sense, she sat on the broom. This is an adverbial phrase. She sat where. So it tells you more about the verb. A very fast broom. This is an adjectival phrase. It tells you more about the noun broom. Okay. Phrase and clause, what's the main difference?
Some of phrase doesn't have a meaning. Does it individually have a complete meaning?
Correct.
Clause has
A clause will make sense and a clause will have a subject and a verb, whereas phrase won't. So modifier, again, in terms of it being a clause, the ghost that stole the bandages. So that stole the bandages. This is a clause. How it's a clause, which is your subject and verb?
the ghost is subject and stole bandages.
In the sentence, the ghost is the subject, but what makes this a clause? That stole. So that is the subject which we are referring to, the ghost. Stole is the verb. He came when the moon appeared. So this is an adverbial phrase. He came when the moon appeared. So here modifiers would be adjectives, adverbs, phrases, or clauses. Basically, even these phrases and clauses will function like adjectives and adverbs. What are phrases and clauses? It's like if you have an adverbial clause, it's the same as an adverb, but it has more number of words. It's doing the function of an adverb or an adjective only. Okay. Only thing is that they are groups of words, whereas adjectives and adverbs are individual words. Now, the most important concept to remember when dealing with modifiers, what is it? They need to be next to the word they are describing. This is important. What is it? They need to be next, as close as possible to the word they describe. Okay, see these sentences. Frightened by the nightmare, the child hugged his mother. Okay, the first sentence. Now, does this seem right or wrong? This is correct? Yes. Who was frightened by the nightmare, the child or the mother? The child. So this is, the child is nearest to this phrase. Then, next sentence. Not looking where she was going, a car hit her. And the sentence B is not looking where she was going, she was hit by a car. B. What makes A wrong?
The first part is describing the woman.
Yes. So here there will be confusion. No, not looking where she was going, a car hit her. Means who did not see where she was going, the lady or the car? The lady. It is actually the lady, but that we know. But from the sentence, you will feel who was not looking. The car hit her. Whereas in the second sentence, not looking where she was going, she was hit by a car. So here it becomes very clear that it was she who didn't see. So here see it is placed close to the words that word that it is trying to elaborate on. So we are talking about she here, about her. Next, most participants selected a lunch from the menu that was high in sugar. What does this mean? Most participants selected a lunch from the menu that was high in sugar means the menu was high in sugar. But what do we want to say? That the lunch that they selected from the menu, that was high in sugar. But if you have a sentence like this, most participants selected a lunch from the menu that was high in sugar. It actually says that the menu was high in sugar. So what would be the correct statement? Most participants selected a lunch that was high in sugar from the menu. So here you're being clear that they selected the lunch which was high in sugar from the menu. So the menu didn't have only high in sugar items. The menu had a mixed thing. Then most participants select, or it could be most participants selected from the menu a lunch that was high in sugar. This way also it's correct. So, but in both the forms, you'll see that a lunch that was high in sugar is together. They are placed close to each other. See, this is another very hilarious one. Bird for sale by flightless woman. So what should it be? So here it's like the woman is flightless and she's selling a bird. So what should the correct sentence be?
Flightless birds
For sale by woman. Okay. Now in this you have two types, misplaced modifiers. Okay, and the second one is dangling modifier. And test is over. How was it? English, no? Yes. Okay. Now, where modifiers are concerned, again, they should be placed as close to the word or phrase as they are modifying as possible. First, misplaced modifier. What is a misplaced modifier? Now, ideally, in your test, you don't have to identify whether it's misplaced or whether it's dangling, but you need to at least get an understanding of it so that you know where the mistake lies, then you will be able to find it. So misplaced modifier, a word or phrase that is placed awkwardly in the sentence, so the reader is unclear as to what it's describing, like the one of the flightless woman. It was placed in the wrong place. See here. When thick and greasy. See these examples. They sound hilarious because they are actually grammatically wrong. But when thick and greasy, my aunt loves pizza rolls.
My aunt loves pizza rolls.
Right. So, but what will this statement mean? When thick and greasy, my aunt loves pizza. Mean who's thick and greasy, the aunt or the pizza roll? Right? Then covered with hot melted cheese, we ate the pizza. Who was covered with hot melted cheese? Correct. But then if you have a sentence like this, you might tend to overlook it because you will assume a lot of things. But grammatically, this actually means this would not be clear. In fact, this would mean that we were covered with hot melted cheese. Right? Then the next one. The hunter crouched behind a tree, waiting for a bear to come along with a bow and arrow. So here we actually
with a bow and arrow, waiting for a bear.
Right. So who was waiting? The hunter. But as per this statement, what does it imply?
That a bear would
The
come with
bear
a bow and arrow.
Correct. The bear would come with the bow and arrow. So, how do you remedy these misplaced modifiers? So, misplaced is when the modifier is placed wrongly. Correct? That was misplaced. Now, how will you rectify these? My aunt loves thick and greasy pizza rolls. This was that one. When thick and greasy, my aunt loves pizza rolls. Second, the hunter crouched behind a tree with bow and arrow. So here, what are you saying? With a bow and arrow, waiting for the bear to come along. So here, it's extremely clear that it is the hunter who was waiting. Okay, I'll give you some more sentences where we have misplaced modifiers, and you can tell me how it could be corrected. Your first sentence is chasing a squirrel up a tree. Write it down. Chasing a squirrel up a tree. Chasing a squirrel up a tree, comma. For misplaced modifier. Chasing a squirrel up a tree, comma. My grandmother saw her cat Fluffy. Saw her cat, comma, Fluffy. Chasing a squirrel up a tree. My grandmother saw her cat, comma, Fluffy. So what does this sentence mean? Chasing a squirrel up a tree, my grandmother saw her cat. So which means my grandmother was chasing a squirrel up a tree. But was my grandmother chasing? My grandmother wasn't. She saw a cat that was chasing a squirrel. So how would you?
Saw a fluffy cat chasing a squirrel up.
No, the cat's name was Fluffy. Saw her cat, comma, Fluffy. So, Adesh, how would you rectify this dangling modifier, a misplaced modifier? Adesh?
Yes.
Yes, how would you rectify this? The chasing a squirrel up a tree, my grandmother saw her cat Fluffy. How would you rectify this? Karmanya?
My grandmother saw her cat Fluffy chasing a squirrel up a tree.
Yes, correct. What had you all changed it to?
My grandmother saw a cat fluffy chasing a squirrel up the tree.
Good. So got it. Karmanya has got it. Right? You have to change the order. Okay, Adesh, now next one you have to try. Okay. So the correct ordering for this would be my grandmother saw her cat Fluffy chasing a squirrel up a tree.
They should give predictable names. Fluffy seems like characteristic of the cat.
And we can also add when to this sentence, right?
Yes.
Grandmother saw.
And what are you changing it to?
I said when my grandmother saw her cat Fluffy, it was chasing a squirrel up a tree.
Yes. That also would be correct. What had you all changed?
It's not the same thing that my
Same.
grandma saw a cat fluffy chasing the
Kuch doubt hai kya? Nothing. Okay. Next one. The next sentence is we almost ate all of the sandwiches. We almost ate all of the sandwiches. So what does this actually mean? We almost ate all of the sandwiches. No, of the is okay. But here when the sentence we are saying we you can say ate all the sandwiches, but here it's all, so that doesn't make it wrong. We almost ate all the sandwiches means
He couldn't, like, he was trying to eat it, but he couldn't eat it. Just reach.
yeah, I mean probably what you drank the sandwiches, we almost ate it, right? So what would be the correct statement here in this case?
We ate almost all of the sandwiches.
We
Ate almost all of the sandwiches.
yes, correct. We ate almost all of the sandwiches. So when we are saying we ate almost all of the sandwiches, we are saying that okay, there were 10 and we could eat 8 or 9, whatever. So we okay. Now we look into the textbook, okay, simultaneously. So, the textbook page 27. Okay, so we are again like revisiting that. Model, or you want me to do dangling also, and then do from that. Okay, we proceed with this. Okay. So dangling modifier, a word or phrase that modifies a word not clearly stated in the sentence. Okay. So with misplaced, what was it? The ordering was different. So then the sentence couldn't be understood and it turned out to be hilarious in certain cases, right? Whereas over here, you'll have a phrase which is usually at the beginning of a sentence, just dangling with nothing to modify. Dangling means what? Means like कोई ऐसा डंडा है और यहाँ से बस वो dangle कर रहा है, right? So it is just dangling. Protrude is like poking into something.
Actually, I read this one in the book. It was used in the same.
Dangling is usually with respect to something that is hanging. So think of it to be somewhat like this, dangling. It's in the beginning and then there is nothing to modify it later. So see the sentences now. Raised in Texas, it is natural to like barbecue. Raised in Texas. So here, whom are we talking about? For the person who is raised in Texas. But that is not, either that's not mentioned or that is not clearly mentioned. So over here, it's not mentioned at all. Yes. You can consider it to be like that because you're not able to understand what that means. It will not make sense.
Correct. Because he was born in
I'll give this. Yeah, I'll give you that also. Solutions. First, see the types of sentences. Okay. Next one, see. Although nearly finished, we left the movie early because our mom called. So, although nearly finished means what had nearly finished? The movie had nearly finished. But here it won't be given clearly. So, here, although nearly finished, we left the movie means what? We were finished or what? No. So, it will not, you will not be able to understand this.
Nearly finished the movie, although we left the 3 years
I'll give you solution first for this. It's although the movie nearly finished. Then here, next one. Flying over the African landscape, the elephant herd looked magnificent. So here it seems like the elephant herd was flying over the African landscape. But what are you actually trying to say in this? That we were flying over the African landscape and down below we saw a herd of elephants that looked beautiful. Okay. But what does this mean? It means nothing. You're not being clear. So, remedy to this first one. Raised in Texas, I naturally like barbecue. So here it's clear that I have been raised in Texas, and that's why I naturally happen to like barbecue. Then next one. Although nearly finished, we left a movie or the movie early because our mom called. So although the movie was nearly finished, correct? Although nearly finished, what was nearly finished? The movie. So this is dangling, right? So we need to add the noun that completes its meaning. So although the movie was nearly finished, we left early because our mom called. Now it makes sense. Then here, flying over the African landscape, the elephant herd looked magnificent. What will be the correction here? The elephant herd looked magnificent as we flew over the African landscape. So here it becomes clear that we flew over the African landscape and we saw the herd and that looked beautiful. Now, write this sentence. To improve your score, this is for dangling. No? To improve your score, comma, practice is needed. To improve your score, practice is needed. Now what would be correct? This is the dangling modifier.
You need to practice to improve your score.
Sorry?
You need to practice to improve your score.
Practice is needed to improve your score.
Or you
Okay.
need
Practice is needed to improve your score. What did Aditya say?
I said you need practice to improve your score.
You need practice to improve your score. Okay. No. If it's your, you use you. Okay, seems like you need more practice in maths. Then, or it could also be to improve your score, you need practice. Say if you have to make changes in the second part after the comma, okay, then it could also be to improve your score, you need practice. Okay, now we'll pick up more. No, we'll do it from the text now. Then we'll pick up more sentences. Right. Now open your textbook, page 27. All of you have the text with you? Okay. So modifiers are words or phrases that add detail or description. Adesh, you read.
Ma'am, from where?
Page 27. Aditya, samjha? Any
Yes.
doubt? Clear na?
In dangling, we have to change the person noun.
Yes. And in your exam, you will get options. It's like, you know, A, B, C, D, which one fits well. So it will be easy for you all. Adesh, read.
Modifiers are words or phrases that add detail or description description to another word or phrase. Adjectives and adverbs are both modifiers. In the following examples, modifiers are underlined and the word phrase they modify is highlighted in italics. A blue bus. The shop sold only spices. If a modifier appears in the wrong place in a sentence, the meaning of the sentence may be confusing. In most cases, a modifier should be near the word or phrase it modifies.
Okay, so underline this. This is important. In most cases, a modifier should be near the word or phrases that it modifies. Yeah.
Tip. Misplaced and dangling modifiers may be confusing, but they are easy to fix. The trick is knowing which type of modifier you are dealing with. That depends on the noun that you are modifying and how close it is to its modifier. Misplaced modifier. Modifier placement within sentences. A misplaced modifier is a descriptive phrase that's not close enough to the thing it is supposed to be describing, making it sound like it's referring to the wrong thing. This happens when the modifier appears to modify the wrong phrase. I saw a tiger while bathing. The sentence is ambiguous since it is not clear whether I or the tiger was bathing. But to make the message clear, the sentence could be written as while bathing, I saw a tiger.
Okay. Converting
The following.
Explain the error here.
Sorry, ma'am, can you repeat?
What were you doing?
Nothing. You said that explain the sentence, right? I saw a tiger while bathing.
Yes. Explain. Aditya explained. Karmanya's lost. He was doing something else. His video was also off.
Ma'am, in this sentence, it's alluding to the fact that the tiger is bathing, but in fact, the person was bathing. So you have to mention while bathing, I saw a tiger.
Correct. Continue.
The following sentence appears to I sailed in the ship with a big toolkit, but it might convey the meaning that I sailed in a ship and the ship had a big toolkit. Hence, a better sentence would be I sailed with a big toolkit in the ship. It would be even more confusing if there were two humans in the sentence.
Wait a minute.
So on.
Wait a minute. What is the problem here? Got confused. Got it now? I saw a tiger while bathing. Means who was bathing? I was bathing or the tiger was bathing? So the second one, while bathing, I saw a tiger. It becomes clear. We might have been out in the jungle and there must have been a tiger. Okay, and the second sentence now. I sailed in the ship with a big toolkit. So what are you saying? It's not clear. It's ambiguous. It's not clear whether I had a big toolkit or the ship had a big toolkit. So I sailed with a big toolkit in the ship becomes clear now that I am the one.
The first sentence.
What?
I don't mind the first sentence. I sailed a tiger.
I saw a tiger.
Ship wala.
I sailed in the ship with a big toolkit. Now मैं toolkit लेके ship में गया ना, but in that sentence I sailed in the ship with a big toolkit भी तो हो सकता है that I sailed in a ship which had a big toolkit. I sailed in the ship with a big toolkit. I am the one who had the toolkit. But when I am saying So that is why अगर confusing लगता है इसलिए grammatically आपको rectify करना है उस sentence को ताकि clear लगे यही confusion है जो modifier को wrongly place करता है जो नहीं होना चाहिए what is which one I said see I said in the ship with a big toolkit अभी actually में क्या हुआ है I had a toolkit with myself and I went with that toolkit into the ship. But ये पढ़ो तो क्या लगता है I sailed in which ship? In the ship with a big toolkit. कि उस ship में toolkit था और मैं उस ship में sail कर रहा था. Yeah. Whereas the second one when you're saying I sailed with a big toolkit in the ship. It becomes clear, no? अभी समझ रहा है कि कौन इसमें confusion लग रहा है इसका मतलब क्या हुआ I sailed with a big toolkit in the ship. What does that mean?
That I had the
Yes, correct. So that is why these sentences जिसमें अभी confused थी the first sentence you were confused कि अरे ये क्या हो रहा है I'm not able to understand. Or in the first one again there was confusion where she was saying oh this seems fine no this doesn't seem fine so there was chaos there so वो chaos हटाने के लिए we have to place it correctly none of you all had a problem with wild baby rats or tiger or okay yeah those online is it clear to you all okay continue Adish.
It would be even more confusing if there were two humans in the
Now, see now,
Charles saw Eva on the way to the library. This sentence says that Eva was going to the library, which is possible. If it was Charles who was going to the library, the sentence would be clear. On the way to the library, Charles saw Eva. Tip. A smart way of identifying modifying phrases is to look for a comma, as modifiers are invariably separated from the main sentence using commas.
okay,
Running very quickly, you said both.
Others wait a minute, they are got it. So first thing on the way to the library, first in the first sentence it's saying Charles saw Ava on the way to the library. Who was going? Ava was going. But actually we want to say that Charles was going. So in that case we'll say on the way to the library, Charles saw Ava. So here it becomes clear ना कि किसने किसको देखा और कौन कहाँ जा रहा है. Okay, read the sentence Adish, running very.
Running very quickly, Usain Bolt won the race. Modifier at the beginning.
So running very quickly, Usain Bolt won the race. So who won the race? Usain Bolt. So the hint that is given here is that you look for the comma. Okay, because you have the comma there and you have the phrase before that, and immediately after that you have the noun or verb, whatever that is modified. Okay, continue.
Usain Bolt running very quickly won the race. Modifier in the middle.
Your modifier in the middle, which is the modifier? Running very quickly. It's also wrong. Running, Usain Bolt running very quickly. This is also correct. You cannot give us it. No. That Usain Bolt won the race. And you have added that phrase in the middle. You can add it in the middle, or the front, or at the end. It sounds wrong. We can add because gerunds. That's a gerund there. Running very quickly. No, but if you have to add, this is not grammatically wrong. It's like the placing of the modifier that is. Now modifier at the end. Karan is
Karan is visiting Japan, the land of the rising sun. Modifier at the
Okay,
dangling.
we take a break and then continue, or should we complete and then take it? No, here, we'll take a 5 minute break and don't be late. There is quite a bit we need to do today.